everybody, welcome back to my quiet, cosy corner here in Cumbria. If you're new to my channel, this is where I hang out. My name is Emma and I'm a textile artist. I used to have a big studio, but now I have a very small upstairs room in my house and I absolutely love it. I love to welcome you all here each week, so thank you for being here. It's really great. I hope you've all survived. If you're in the UK, I hope, or wherever in the world. I'm not quite sure where the storm exactly hit, but I think it was Storm Eowyn. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but I've just looked it up actually because I was interested in the name. And it's a female character from Lord of the Rings, I think, in the film, or in the book obviously as well. I don't know anything about Lord of the Rings, but I thought it was really interesting. There's this strong, powerful female character toppling trees and wreaking havoc on the planet, and the power of that and the power of nature, the power of Mother Nature was just phenomenal, really, wasn't it? It caused a lot of damage obviously and a lot of power cuts and stuff like that. It really stops humans in their tracks, doesn't it, when Mother Nature kicks off. It was fun. It was phenomenal, really. We were pretty lucky here. We had no damage as such. I think I might have lost a slate off the roof, but I've got that sorted. But the beautiful thing was it brought out our village to help each other. We've got a lady who had a stroke a few years ago and needs, obviously electricity is very important to everybody, but I think particularly if you've got special requirements. And what happened was a local farmer friend in the village brought them a generator. He had a spare generator, it might even been his own, I don't know, but he brought a generator for them. Somebody else brought them hot water, somebody else brought them a stove to use, and people rallied round and helped. In my local village, one of the local villages, half the village had electricity and half didn't, which is quite strange really. I don't know how that comes to be, but what happened was the village hall opened up and people were able to go and get some warmth and some light and go and cook food if they needed to cook food. So it was like this really sort of disastrous thing happening, but people coming out and joining together and helping each other, and I thought it was just really heartwarming. So as I say, we got off unscathed, although we did have a power cut, but not actually when the storm was on. It was afterwards. I presume they must have had to be out repairing things, so they have to turn the electric off. It was only off for it was less than 24 hours for us, luckily. Sometimes it can be more. We had 4 days when Storm Arwen came through. We had 4 days off, and I know other people had worse things. So, but as I say, what I think was beautiful out of this disastrous situation, people rallied round and helped each other out, and that was wonderful. There was community spirit showing up, and that was just lovely. Makes your heart warm, doesn't it, when you hear stories like that? So that's my little thing for this week. I hope you've all been okay with it. Maybe you had no power, I don't know. We're very lucky we have a setup that is ready for this kind of situation because we've lived with power cuts for years, like 30 years or something we've lived here. And we have a wood burning stove and we have an oil-fired Arga that doesn't rely on any electricity. Yes, the central heating goes off. I say central heating, we didn't have central heating for many years. And I feel for people who are all electric, because I think that is really, really difficult, because you're in a cold house with no means of cooking anything hot. So I'm very grateful for what we have here. Well, I'm even more grateful for you, and I had some lovely comments. I'm really excited that you're excited that we're doing something different. We're getting on with some sketchbooks, we're going to have some fun. I don't know what we're going to be doing, I've no idea yet until I get started and get some paper out and get some paints out and just start. I don't know. The ideas don't really come until I get going. And it's overcoming that first step, isn't it? It can be quite scary, I think, especially there's something about sketchbooks and blank paper that just kind of, you kind of freeze, don't you? You don't want to make that first mark on the paper. So it's really interesting. I had a little 3-year-old in my kitchen the other day, a friend's daughter, was sitting on her knee, and I thought, she's sitting there, nothing to do. So I got some paper, some scrap paper, and had a pack of oil crayons, and she just set to and she went scribble, 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 like this, and in all the different colours. And then she was taking all the paper off the crayons because she couldn't get the ends to work properly. So she just took the paper off and carried on scribbling and drawing. And she was telling us what she was drawing. It was her mother's nose was one of the things, and you know, it was just brilliant. But she had no fear. She wasn't scared of this piece of paper. She wasn't worried about getting it wrong, and she wasn't worried about getting it right. You know, there was nothing there stopping her. She just enjoyed that moment of playing like that. So I'm hoping to sort of imbue myself with that feeling, and maybe if you're going to have a go with me, follow along what I'm doing. As I say, it's very risky this, because I've absolutely no idea what I'm going to do, and whether you want to do it or not, we just don't know till we try it. As my boss used to say, suck it and see. So I'm going to give it a go and see what's going to happen. So do join me if you'd like to. That would be great, and let me know in the comments what you get up to, because that would be fabulous. So here on my lovely table, I have been and got myself this beautiful book, which we'll have a little look at in a moment. I know one or two of you, I'm sure, will have this book. Quite a few of you might have this book. Absolutely gorgeous book. You know, I keep looking at it, just the cover of it inspires me. It's just a delicious book, isn't it? If you've got it, you know what I mean. But it looks like a delicious book. So the other thing I've done is I've actually gone and got some, I can't think what you call it, just some pads, drawing pads, big drawing pads. I used to buy big ones to try and encourage me to draw bigger. As you can see, I haven't done a lot of that yet, so maybe this time, who knows. I've even got an A2, I don't know if you can see it right down at the bottom here. Got a great big A2 pad. It's actually really for doing backing drawings and stuff, or putting backing behind pieces of work. Sometimes I use it. It's not necessarily meant for doing great big drawings, but I have, you know, when you're a student, you do all these things. You go out and you draw with sticks, and you put wallpaper down on the floor and draw on it, and then put bleach on it, and all sorts of things I've done in the past. And it was really exciting, and I don't know why I'm not still doing that sort of thing. So I'm going to kind of challenge myself, and maybe I'm challenging you as well, to sort of get out of your comfort zone. Yes, it's nice to work this size. I do like working this size, and I might be doing some things on this size of paper yet. I don't know. I have a feeling what I'd like to do really is just tear up some paper. But I think first of all, what we're going to do, what's inspiring me to do that is this book. So I'll just have a little show of this book, and you'll see what I'm on about. So this was a book I treated myself to because it just looked absolutely gorgeous. It's by Rachel Hazell, and she's a bookbinder, and I'm pretty sure I've looked her up online and looked at all of her stuff. I mean, just the back covers, you know, that the front and back covers are just gorgeous, and the whole thing is full of how to do handmade books, how to make delicious handmade books. And I did in a very early video, some of you might remember, I did do some handmade books, and I really enjoyed doing them, and I loved the hand stitching process. And as I say, if you haven't got this book, if this doesn't entice you to buy it, nothing will. I'm not advertising, but I'm just showing you. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's full of inspiration. And in fact, it inspired me to... These little books have actually got staples in them, in the middle. See if I can find the middle for you. Where's the middle? Yeah, they've got staples in, which I don't think are very nice. So what I did with these was I actually added in an extra piece of paper when I'd finished the book, when I'd filled it up, and I actually had the pleasure, gave myself the pleasure, taking out the staples and hand stitching them. And when I put the covers on as well. But isn't that lovely? It's such a nice thing to do. It's like one of those things where you just take your time and you just allow yourself to fiddle with this thing. It's not rocket science, it's not going to save the world, but maybe it will, because you're being very peaceful and having a nice time doing this really cute little thing. It's a little detail, and it pleases me so much. So, as I say, I'm going to just feel into this and see what I'm going to do, how I want to approach this brand new sketchbook thing, whatever it's going to be. So what I've decided is I have got all my pads out and then thought, I think in my cupboard I've got other things. So I've had a little look in my cupboard, which I'll show you what I've got out. I found a lovely pad of, it's a medium grain cartridge paper. So So it's actually got a nice grain to it. It's not a watercolour paper as such, but it is got this really nice sort of grainy quality. So I'm going to use some of that. And I've just torn some pages up. I've even torn the edges off. I just took a ruler and tore off the edges. I'll show you on this one here. I just stick a ruler down the edge and I just kind of pull the paper off like this. So you're literally getting just a little bit of paper. I mean, you could be sticking that back on and using it if you wanted to, or it can go in the recycling. I don't mind doing that. So that's those. That's that pad. And I thought the other thing that would be nice is in my cupboard I've got a right load of old sketchbooks that I've taken to bits. So they've already got one side that's rough. I kind of feel as though I don't want to be thinking the book at this stage. I just want to go out there and make marks. I don't want to be worrying about what the paper looks like. I thought about painting it to start with, and I thought, no, actually I don't even want to do that at this stage. I just want to go out there and see what I can see. So I've just got all this, as I say, I've got all these odds and sods, bits of paper, and I thought, well, I can just tear them up, and afterwards I could even be, you know, you could be tearing them up like that and putting marks on them and things like that. Or you can, you know, make the marks on them and then tear them up afterwards like that. So lots of possibilities. And oh, I've got bits of I have got some watercolour paper here. Is it, or is that the same as that? Actually no, I think that's the same as that, so that's good. That's more bits to use up. So I'm going to upcycle, and the important thing is to get out there and just jolly well do it. And my thinking is, I found myself I've lost it now. I had a piece of cardboard. Anyway, I'm thinking I'm going to just clip my bits of paper onto a piece of cardboard. It can go in a plastic bag in case it rains, and then I'll show you what I've got to draw with, which is basically I've got some oil pastels. I don't know what's in my tin these days. I haven't been out for a while. Sort of felt tip pens. So I've got some nice little bits of charcoal, so I could use those. I've got some very nice, these are, trying to show you these are some kind of pastel, and I've got different colours of those, so I'm going to take those out. I was going to take out wet materials and take out a brush and stuff, and I thought no. So I'm just going to take various pencils, you know, thick ones, thin ones, maybe take a black pen. Oh, I found a piece of cardboard now, there you go, just to prove I had it. So I'm going to just get myself set up, tear up some more bits of paper, and just jolly well get out there and see what I can see, because that's what it's all about. Going to kind of put those on there like that, and I've got some odds and sods over here, different sizes. I've got some long thin pieces, some short fat pieces, and I'm just going to kind of clip them together. Look at this, isn't this fun? This is a disassembled sketchbook, like, you know, made by me. So there you go, Bob's your uncle. We'll just need our little basic drawing tools. I mean, what more do you need? You could literally just go out with a pencil. You don't have to take anything else if you don't want to, you know. Just saying, FYI, just saying. So this is me ready to go out and do a little bit of messing about outside. You know, you could go out in your garden. It doesn't have to be on a big walk. I'm sure there's lots of things to be seen just outside my back door. I'm going to go and have a look. And I look forward to seeing you all back here next week, and I hope you've gone out and done something similar. You know, I challenge you, get some little bits of paper, get a pencil and go outside, see what you can see. And I'll see you all back here next week. Bye for now.
ba-da-ba.